everybody. How's it going?
Oh
Welcome.
yeah.
Welcome to SNN War. I'm Kenpachi. That's Deontay the Giant. How you doing today, Deontay?
I'm doing well, man. Just enjoying my day and catching up on a lot of shows that I've been missing out on recently.
Oh yeah. Any of them
Yeah.
you want to mention before we get into talking, or you want to just wait till we're in the show?
I could at least name them. I won't tell you like what I've seen and what I think about it just yet until after the show. But yeah, I've caught up on the 4 episodes of Metallic Rouge. Um, I believe there's like 6 or 7 episodes of Tales of Wedding Rings that's out right now.
Something
But
like
I
that.
I have not seen the other two just yet, but caught up on everything else, and that's like a huge accomplishment for me.
I gotta ask.
Mhm.
Did you get some free rent in there?
That it will be today.
That's today. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
thank
I was
goodness.
wondering.
I
I
I,
didn't
I
know.
can't finish this week without Free Run and Doctor Stone. Those are my babies, and it took me forever to get caught up on them.
uh, and I'm just gonna say, hey, what's up?
What's going
Is
on,
that
Billy Rhodes?
yeah? I was gonna say Billy. That's who it is.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, Billy? Um, Ragnar Crimson. We're gonna go over that next week. That's the only one on the list that you haven't watched any of. So you should at least watch the first episode of that so that you can, at bare minimum, you can talk shit about it while I tell everybody how it's a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the best show that's out right now. I really dig the concept behind it, but it's just I'm like I don't it's one of those that I don't think everyone's gonna like. But if you start watching, you get hooked into the show, you ain't
yeah.
gonna stop.
That's how I feel about Tales of Wedding Rings, but that's probably a whole nother reason why people won't like that show.
Well, I mean, you know, not everybody watches the R-rated stuff there,
It pushes
Deontay.
boundaries in both American culture and Japanese culture. So I'm like, whew, whew.
Uh, when you say pushes boundary, oh man, I'll tell you what. Let's just go ahead and switch them around and make it first because I want to hear you say pushes boundaries. What do you mean?
Oh, it pushes it. I'll save that for once we like reach that. So you want to do that one last?
I was going to, but now I'm intrigued. So I'm saying
Oh,
let's switch it and Rouge around, and we'll just end with Metallic Rouge. You go ahead and tell me what is it that you think? What? I because I really don't see where it's like busting those norms, but I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I absolutely will. Would you like to hit the theme song real fast?
Man, I'm so into the anime, I almost forgot. Please give
Oh,
me the
it,
jams.
all righty. Well, without further ado, let's start the show.
Is the best thing what? Exactly.
Hey, we're
We are
back.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, man. Hey, I'm looking for a theme song for war now, so it's gonna be a shame when we go to war. I'm gonna have to get that jam on an MP3 and add it to my playlist.
Yeah, I need to do that too. I'm like, man, how do I not have this on my playlist yet?
Right.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the war theme song that you had coming up after this is going to be just as fire. So
I hope so. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. I trust my boy Josh Lynn is going to hook me up with something. So I am just
Yeah.
anxiously awaiting it. Just on the edge of my seat.
Please, please. Yeah,
So
but
now, without further ado, let's get into it. What are these norms that Tales of Wedding Rings breaking that you're talking about?
well, I wouldn't say breaking these norms. I would say pushing the boundaries for sure.
Okay, pushing the boundaries.
So for anybody that don't know of the anime series we're referring to, it's a brand new series that just came out in January. It's called Tales of Wedding Rings, and you can watch this on Crunchyroll. I'm not sure about the other streaming services you can catch that on, but definitely Crunchyroll. And I believe if I'm correct, there is an uncensored version on High Dive that people can go watch.
I know there's an uncensored version out there. Yeah, I believe it was High Dive that was talking about it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if it was this one that was uncensored on High Dive or Chain Soldier that we're referring to. Maybe both.
Yeah, and you know what? No, it was Chain Soldier. It was Chain Soldier and that Magicker Girl one where yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
I heard that. But yeah,
I watched an episode and peeked in on it a minute. Hey, what's going, Raiden Hayes?
what's going on, Trent, man? Thank you for tuning in and stopping by, Brody.
But yeah, I don't remember if it was High Dive. May not have it. I don't remember. I have, I pay for streaming services, but as you know, I watch everything on a pirate site because it has it all in one place for me. So I didn't even go look other than I saw it on Crunchyroll. And to be honest, my normal site that I watch on GoGo Anime doesn't even have it listed as uncensored, and it is uncensored. So because I went to another site that had them separated, and the censored one definitely was much more censored than the uncensored one.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
it.
Like even the uncensored one has its boundaries. Like it doesn't, it's not hentai. I will say that it is not hentai.
Definitely not hentai.
But no, and you know what else is that, the norms that it does smash is that you don't have whenever you have some titties in a show, that all of a sudden that means that you lost everything else interesting about it. Like all of a sudden the only interesting thing that can be in the show is the titties. I mean, and don't get me wrong, we men and even a bunch of women that they're going to go for the titties, and that's fine. I'm not saying don't go for that. I mean, you do have to remember we got some elf girls in it and some cat girls in it. So, don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate, man. I mean,
All
everybody.
All titties are created equal.
Exactly. And I know everybody in the comment section was probably watching Naruto at some point and kind of stared a little bit too long at Tsunade when she first appeared. So that's how we got introduced to her, and then a couple other very famous characters that we know of. So it's just like Tales of Wedding Rings, the titty edge is not that different from any other anime you see.
Yeah, no. And to be honest, the fan service isn't really as heavy as some for like the panty shots, the upskirt shots and stuff like that. The stuff that I feel is kind of like, violating these women in a way.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a lot of that. Or like in what's the one, High School of the Dead, when he lays down across the girl and uses her boobs to help him steady the gun is like pow, pow. And it just, I'm like,
Jeez,
yeah, this is unnecessary. I mean, it's funny, but this one doesn't have a lot of that. It's like once an episode you'll have an awkward situation or the right situation and people end up naked in it. I think at one point it was over vomit. So, it's not singly out for sex. It's just that it happens. So,
really,
but
none of the characters have had sex yet. None of them.
Oh, absolutely. And the funny thing is that two of them are obviously in love, Sato and Hime.
Yeah.
And they didn't even let each other know until like right at the beginning of the series. And they're like, well, I love you. And well, I love you too. And it's like, y'all are just now figuring it out. Everybody else has been knowing since the first episode.
Yeah, they just made it like they made their situation a whole lot more awkward than it needed to be. But you kind of see their innocence still, and I kind of appreciated that a little bit. It was like, yeah, the guy's like a genuinely good guy, and he's like innocent as hell. So these guys got to be like what 17, 18-year-old characters. I believe.
Yeah, they were. I'm pretty sure it says they were 17 in the show. I mean, they were in high school.
Yeah, they're definitely in high school, and
none of them had graduated yet. So that's where they're at and what they're doing until they jump into another world. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I hate to sound completely unhinged, but in the history of watching hentai, which I know everybody's done at least once, there's characters that are definitely like 16 and under in certain sex scenes. It's just like I don't even go looking for it, but if you go through the right channels on the black web or whatever, you'll see something. Everybody's had that curious teenager phase, and it's just like, "Bukkake, what does this mean?" or something like that. And
mine is that when I was married, my ex and I decided to go out and rent a couple. At the time there wasn't the internet like there is today. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't like it is today. And so we went and rented a couple, and we couldn't read anything on them. We just looked at a couple of pictures on it. We're like, okay. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you. Both of them were ape videos, and with ape, but with an R at the beginning.
Oh.
And we were like, watched them into a few minutes. And we're like, well, actually, the one wasn't, but it ended up being that by the end. The other one was just straight up that, and we watched into like a couple minutes of it because obviously it didn't just start out with that. It was kind of trying to have a story, and then when it went there, we were like, all right, turn this one off, put that back in the case. Yeah. And I'm like, and to be honest, I've never really went back to hentai again. I love anime, but that kind of shooed me off. The other one, and I cannot say this any other way, it had a masturbation sperm demon in it. And I'm not going to go into explaining that. If you can't get that from the name, then and by the end, we didn't watch it till the very end, but by the end of where we turned it off, it was like, wow. Yeah. That one went into like such bad picks we made.
Yeah.
Well, we're never doing that again.
Yeah, the least I won't necessarily, well, on a personal level, I won't judge like ecchi anime at all. I was watching. I'll be the first to admit that I watched Redo of Healer a few too many times, and it was for research purposes and a little bit of good storytelling. Because I will give it that much. There was some scenes that like they didn't even push boundaries. They just ran their whole fucking foot over it. And
Yeah,
so
they
it's
didn't have any boundaries in that
there,
anime. It was
there was
the yeah, I agree with you completely. It was really it's hard to watch at points, even though most of the rough scenes are barely a minute long.
yeah.
They're a minute too long at points.
Mhm.
There were other parts that were really cool and like the power that he has in it and all that. Uh, I pushed through it, but there were definitely uncomfortable parts in that I watched, and I will probably watch a second season to see where he goes.
Right.
But I imagine I will go through some spots that are uncomfortable in it again,
Yeah.
because the ape with the R at the beginning of it is kind of an ongoing thing in that,
Yeah.
and that just is not. It's not something that I like.
Yeah. I don't seek
I don't
that
know how
shit
to
out.
say it. Like,
Yeah. I don't seek
no,
that shit out
no,
at all.
no, and it comes out of nowhere. You feel like it because, but the way that they treated him, it's almost like the revenge of it. You feel like, no, you're not justified, but at the same time, it's like you're going to jail for a long time over this.
And he
But
knows it.
no,
Mhm.
other people are going to be like, but I kind of understand why you went ahead and did it, even though, nobody else ever would probably do that. Well, I mean, I guess I can't say that. There's a lot of people in jail for it, but
Yeah.
it just, wow. Yeah, that show, Redo a Healer especially.
Yeah. Yeah. He is on
That
a
one is,
path of straight up fucking revenge. That's all you need to know. You watch
but
episode 1 and it doesn't float your boat, turn that shit off immediately because it just gets worse up until like episode 13 or 14. So
Tales of Wedding Rings isn't anything like that.
nothing
Nothing
like
like
that.
that.
Nowhere close. It's actually the total opposite of Redo a Healer.
Right. I kind of called it when we heard the story from Sinandri, the elder elf.
Yeah.
Uh when she was telling the story, I'm like, that's
God.
Alabasta. That's
Yeah.
Alabasta.
That's
That's just who
definitely
she's talking about.
Alabaster. You
And then
fucking
at the end of
dog.
it, he's like, yeah, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Mm.
Yeah.
Walking
Yeah.
away a big
Yeah,
dog.
like, let's change the subject. It's just like, wait a minute, old timer. I'm proud of you. What?
They don't call me the great sage for nothing. And
Yeah.
by the way, sage is just a scrunched together word for sex age. I'm the great sex age. That's
Yes.
me right now.
God, his powers is on a whole nother level, man. There's the Ring King, which is the main character who's supposed to be this in-game powerful good guy, but then you got Alabaster in the sack. Woo.
Yeah, I guess we should explain a little bit about what it's about before we get any more into it. We've talked about it a bunch. Maybe we just made you where you can't stand and not go watch it. But
Yeah,
let me get to my spot here.
I'll do the cute visual real fast.
Oh, there it is. All righty. And what you got there in the center is Sato. Then to his left, that's Hime. And Hime is the human light princess. Well, here, I'll go through all of them that I got down here. Sato, he's the human ring king from a world like our own. He's in love with Hime. They're childhood friends, grew up together. And when her grandfather decides to take her back to her world, he's like, man, I love that girl, and jumps through the portal after her and gets mixed up in a whole heap of shit.
Yeah.
I found it amusing that and here Hime, she's in love with Sato and gives him her ring, which is the ring of light, instead of the guy who's been training all his life for it. His name's Mars.
Yeah.
that I found that hilarious. Like this other guy, he's been training his whole life. He's like standing there, all decked out, ready to marry her. Got this gleaming sword. He's the prince of a whole empire, and he's like, "That's right, I'm the prince, Prince Charming, that is." And Sato jumps through, and Hime's like, "You ain't nothing," and jumps at Sato. And
like, hold up, that's my girl.
Oh, but it's cool how Mars was kind of okay with it. Like he doesn't.
Yeah, he was so laid back, man. It was insane the way, and he just been giving Sato advice the entire first season. He's just
teach
like
him
a
how
big
to
bro.
fight with a sword.
Yeah,
right. He's like, you know what? I don't want to be the main character. I want to be like your right hand man. I want to be your wingman. That's what I want to be. Like when you're going out, I'm gonna be there with you, dog.
Yeah. he is like my top 5, maybe even top 2 characters out of this series.
Really, that's cool.
I like Mars more than I do Sato. It's insane. And Sato has his brownie points for sure. He got a ton of shining moments in the series where you find out that he's just a genuinely really good guy, and so the women in this key visual are all his 5 wives. So he's going to be married about 5 to 6 times, depending on how the story goes, because of each of the rings that he has on his fingers. So he's going to be married to all these women, and he is going to earn their marriage. It isn't going to be like a arranged marriage or some crazy shit like that. All of his wives are going to fall in love with him in their own way, shape, or form. So where he's at now, Hime, who we talked about earlier, is his first wife. She gave him the Ring of Light. His second wife is the elf girl, Nefertiti, and she has the ring. Nefritis.
Yeah, Nefrites.
Yeah, and she has the Ring of Wind, and all Sato needs is the remaining 3. So those first 2 wives that he got, they're princesses of their own nation, and they are responsible for these rings. Because
now it is like their duty to marry the Ring King, because the Ring King needs all of the power of the rings. So it is supposed to be arranged marriages.
Yeah.
But as with any marriage, problems come along with it. I'm not saying somebody shouldn't get married. I'm just saying that when you do, you take on another person. That person has problems of their own. So that means now, as becoming one with that person, you have twice as many problems.
Yeah. And
Sato's getting married 4 to 5 times. So that's going to be like 6 times as many problems as he had before. Woo! So yeah. By the way, you left out the Hime is the one in the picture. You got Hime to the left, and then Nefrites to the left of Hime. Now, there's also, we've met, if you look above Sato's right shoulder, you see the one that I've been waiting for.
Yeah,
her name is Grenard. She's a cat-eared, bronze-skinned girl, and the princess of the traveling country of Nidakita. And she holds the Ring of Fire. Without a doubt, the hottest of his wives.
Absolutely.
In researching for the show a little bit, I learned that eventually, which is what happened with all of them, the Shadow King or Dark King or whatever the hell it is.
The Abyss King.
Yeah, the King of the Abyss, whatever it is. He attacks, and Sato fights off some of their warriors. And even though he couldn't best, her in combat, she's very impressed by the way he fights the King of the Abyss, and falls in love with him and decides to marry him after that.
Yeah. Sato literally earns his love from all his wives, his future wives, because every other episode he meets the new princess, he gets to know her, and then if things go well between them, they go on with the marriage. And so far, he's met up to three of these women, 3 out of 5. He met Hime, known her his whole life. They've been in love with each other from the very jump. So sorry about the romantic ushy gushy part, but I tell you, it gets better as I explained. But yeah, so Hime loved him on her own, had no issues with marrying him at all. Nefrit is his second wife, the elf girl that he met in like the third or fourth episode. She, in her own way, fell in love with Sato too. She was sheltered, and both her parents were turned to stone. So she was just kind of like this kid that dreamed of going out and see the world, but her older brother wouldn't allow it to happen. And Sato helped her heal through that process. So it's like, what the hell kind of character is Sato?
You know what though? I Sato is extremely smart in the ways of love. He plays it off like he doesn't know what's going on. But do you notice the way that he babies Nefrits to make Hime jealous? Keeps her wrapped around his finger, man. She does whatever he wants. He's like, I
Um,
think I need a massage. And you don't want me to ask Nefrits, I know, so you'll give me one, right? And she's like, yeah, giving him massages. Where else
man,
do you want me to rub?
their situation is funny as hell. Sato, I'm not sure if he does a lot of half his stuff he does on purpose. But there's some moments where it's just like, damn, dude, are you really that much of a virgin? And it's just like he's pure hearted, but he also has some pervy ways to him. That if you could even put those two in the same description for a character, this dude, from 1 minute he can go to encouraging you to go chase your dreams, and I won't sleep with you if you're not ready and stuff like that. To another minute, it would just be like, hey, he may told me to rest my head on her lap, so now I can look up and see some titties, and I'm going to tell her that I can see the titties, and it's just like, Sato, what the hell kind of character are you, man? He reminds me of a real life human teenage boy.
He is life wreckingly honest.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I know it's going to make you hate me, but when you bent over a minute ago, I saw your panties and you got a little poop stain in there. And they're like, fuck you, dude.
It's like,
why'd you tell me that?
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit that I let slide while watching this anime, but there was some scenes where the first time they did an upskirt of Hime, I was like, man, what the hell, man? And because I was like, first thing that clicked in my mind was like, man, that was kind of unnecessary. She's a high school student, bro. Like you know what demographic is watching this goddamn anime, and they do it anyway when they write these stories. But
man, you're never gonna get fan service out of it completely.
Right.
It's just something that they do in anime. I don't know why they feel like it's necessary, because it does not add to 99% of the stories. There's that 1% of stories that it adds something to. I think High School of the Dead is the perfect example. Like it kept it from being too serious with a bunch of high school kids running from zombies, you know?
Yeah.
So but at the same time, a lot of them, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you always hear me talk about High School of the Dead and the amount of fan service that was in it, because like it might be a record. I think like there's like 85% of the anime is fan service. And I mean, it's too much, you know?
Right. I've seen debates online where people are just like, they can't really tell if it's hentai or not. Like it just barely, like you're this close to being considered a hentai because it's just so risky. to watch.
All right. I'm gonna just I'll just jump out right now. There's I in none of them. Even like I said, I wanted to see if there was a difference between the uncensored versions and the other stuff, and I've not seen like any. There's boobs in it, but there's nothing else in it. There's not even, and we were talking about it. Nobody's even had sex in it.
In High School of the Dead?
No. And I thought we're talking about Tales of Wedding Rings.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I was referring to High School of the Dead. High School
Yeah,
of the
I
Dead
don't
has
think
sex.
they have. No, they didn't have sex. I mean, they got naked in episode 6 when the girls took the bath. Because I remember because it's the episode that I skipped because there's absolutely nothing in it that moves the story forward at all, and I'm just like, you do. If you haven't watched it, you should.
It's wild, man. That it's the wilder adult side of anime. If you guys aren't used to the world of animated freaky shit.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I watched that so long ago. It was around the time that I started watching The Walking Dead, and I got like really on a zombie kick, and so I went looking for zombie anime to watch, and I was like, oh, this High School of the Dead. I mean, that's got to be good anime, right?
Right.
It is, and I mean, like, there's really cool stuff in it. It's got amazing animation. Like the parts that aren't fan service are very well, the story's told, there's character development throughout it. I don't remember his name, but his little partner that ends up building the badass nail gun, like yeah, but yeah, there is, and there, and the funny thing is there's no titties that you see in High School of the Dead. There's no nakedness at all in it, but it is so much fan service. I'm talking about the episode where they're in the bath. It's been a long time, but the one thing that I remembered about it was that they had them just covered with soap on the bits. So I was like, that's about as close to naked as you can get. But I mean, again, you got like, what is it, 3 or 4 girls in there. Right, Billy?
Yeah.
I like it all. That's why I watch the stuff that's uncensored, is because, it's fun to see them get silly with it, or, see if somebody makes them hot. I had no idea that, dark skinned elf women had green nipples. I was interested to see that. Green nipples would be a different one for me. I mean, I'm
You're
not
talking
saying
about
I
Tales of
still
Wedding
would.
Ring, right?
Yeah, Tales of Wedding
Yeah.
Rings. Hey, there, like we said, there's no nipples in. You don't see a single nipple in High School of the Dead. Lots and lots of covered titties, and they're drawn to be incredibly sexy all the time. Like, how does someone fall sexy? Watch High School of the Dead.
You'll
How does
find out.
someone get their face bitten off and still look hot? Watch High School of the Dead. No.
It's just God, man. Tales of Wedding Rings is not even half of that. But you do get somewhat full frontal nudity in Tales of the Wedding Ring. I did leave that out and had to sneak that in. But Tales of
Yeah,
Wedding
I didn't
Ring.
see full frontal nudity. I didn't see girl bits. Did we at one point?
Watch the Crunchyroll version. Crunchyroll is uncensored. That's what
Well, I've watched an uncensored one. I watched a version where their tops, their boobs are covered by like cloudy whites, like, and then that's what they have over their bottoms as well. But I'm gonna have to go looking to see. But
You said
so I didn't
clouds?
think. Yeah, it looks like clouds. It's like it's just white, like there's nothing there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's just whited out completely.
You
But
watch it on Crunchyroll. Everything. You see it all. And, and even where we are at right now, we're up to like episode 7 or 8. Nobody has had sex. The
Nobody.
Sato was just like, I'm gonna wait until you're ready. And he keeps sweet talking to girls and saying shit that just like you're supposed to say. And everybody just on board with him just having these close calls with these naked wives of his. And it's just like, bro,
His balls are gonna explode.
they are. They definitely are. And he hadn't even gotten all 5 of his wives yet, which is crazy.
Nope. Yeah. Saphir and Amber appear to be the names of the 2 future wives that we haven't met yet.
Oh, I know one of them is supposed to be from like the land of the dragons. That's where they get the ring of water from, and I think that's the one with the horns. I like her. I like her.
Yeah, she's pretty cute too.
Yeah, the one from the Ring of Fire, like the one you mentioned, Gennard, she's hot as well. It's hard for me to pick a favorite out of all of them, but they all come with their own personalities. They have their own chemistry with Sato, and it's genuine. So it's not like you watching like some kind of abusive form of porn. This is like if they ever do anything in this show, it's because Sato had to earn that shit. So
right. Oh, let's see. Yeah, that was the only other note that I had was that, hey, Eric, how's it going on?
What's going on, EJ?
And we understand people got to eat, bro.
Oh yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do right after this, and then I'm just going to crack on that Free Run Beyond Journey's End, or I think that's how the full name goes. But
yep, Journey's End.
And have some pizza and Free Run tonight.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I think that's. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say about Tales of Wedding Rings?
That's all I got. Great series.
We talked about titties more than anything else there, I think.
We sure did. Yeah, if you have Crunchyroll and you're in the mood to seeing a little something, that's your show, Tales of Wedding Rings.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next show. We're going to do Sengoku Youko next. I've been watching it. I know that Deontay has not, but that's all right. You can catch up. Something kind of cool about it. It's a Japanese manga series. It's written and illustrated by Satoshi Mizukami. It was serialized from December 2017 to 2014 in Comic Blade Monthly, and then went on to be a web manga for another 2 years till 2016. In the story, the world's divided into 2 factions. You got humans and monsters called Katawara. Despite being a Katawara, Tama loves humans and vows to protect them from evil, even if it means fighting her own kind. She's a short, blonde-haired little fox demon. She's the one that's up there at the top in the middle, kind of. Well, just a touch to the right.
Yeah, with like the orange kimono on.
Yeah, and the red sash around it. Her opposite is her brother Jinka, who actually he's pictured but not really there. Jinka hates humans, despite mostly being one. And they say mostly because Jinka has the power to he basically siphons off the power of a Katawara into himself temporarily. And gains more power. And actually, he is the one, when he's got the Katawara power, he's got the white hair, and those are his 4 tails behind him.
Holy cow.
You see the 4 tails coming out behind them all there? Well, the 4 white furry things.
Yeah, he's basically like a white furred Kurama.
He's Kurama. Inuyasha is what I've heard a lot of people compare him to.
Oh.
He looks very similar to Inuyasha. Just a little bit. Obviously, looks like a cat demon or a fox demon because he's siphoning off of fox demon's power. He was trained by, and I don't remember the name and I don't have it written down, but very strong individual that had perfected this technique of siphoning them off. His technique is still not perfected, which is why he can only do it for a certain amount of time, and then he loses his ability. They aren't blood siblings, but they are brother and sister in every sense of the word. The siblings are joined by a cowardly swordsman named Shinsuke, who wants to learn how to become strong, and a former Katawara, or a former slave who was used in experiments and given some power of Katawaras. Her name's Shakugan. She, after they rescued her, she travels with Jinka and Tama now.
She's in this picture.
She is the one in the red with she's got the red hair and the red kimono, basically right underneath Tama.
Nice.
And then Shinsuke is the guy down at the bottom with the sword. He looks like he's really angry, but what he's actually doing is trying to distract you so he can run away and hide. Let's see. Jinka, I've got mostly human man who hates humans, and he has an ability to use some of Tama's powers to battle other Katawara and powerful humans. He is hilariously cynical, but at the same time does have a big heart when it comes to children and powerless people, slaves, and things like that, which is really almost the complete opposite of his sister Tama. Tama is a Katawara that loves humans. Her and Jinka travel around and fight evil Katawara. Instead of money, she asks the villagers to be kind to travelers and to give them something and not expect anything in return, and to ask them in return to pay that kindness forward themselves. Even if it's only one time that they do it, do that this once for me to get rid of this Katawara problem. She tells people all the time that she's trying to make the world more kind, and she calls her and Jinka the siblings for world reformation. She is so heartwarming and endearing, whereas Jinka, you want to slap the shit out of him about half of the time, until he gets pushed to that point. It's obvious that he doesn't like bullies, and in particular, human bullies. Very, very, very set against it. I feel like the animation in it is not like super stellar, but once it gets to some battle scenes, they definitely have some Sakugan going on, and it gets, I think I said that word right. Forgive me if I said it wrong, but just enhanced animation when they get to the fight scenes. It gets a lot more intense and a lot more detailed, and just intense and detailed. Yeah, I drew a blank. I was thinking for another word and it went away. It says that when the group uncovers a plot to experiment on humans and transform them into monsters, they vow to defeat whoever is behind it, even if it means battling an entire army of warriors. The people they meet, places they see, and creatures they battle will be legendary. So, like I said, I have a lot. I enjoy watching it. I don't think that it does not have top tier animation through every scene, so people can try and pick it apart all they want. I find the story to be interesting, and I will definitely be keeping on this one. So,
you're current on the episodes too?
Yes, I am. I'm 5 or 6, I believe, is where it's at. I'd have to look and see. But, it's airing on Crunchyroll, so can watch it on Crunchyroll, or Go Anime.
Hey, or I should say R.
Arr!
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be. Did you have anything you wanted to ask or say about it?
That's all I had for it.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go ahead. We spent a lot of time on Tales of Wedding Rings, so I'm going to go ahead and move right into The Witch and the Beast. Because honestly, it has grown from me not knowing anything about it into being one of the best anime I'm watching this season. The animation is top tier all the way through it. The fight scenes are intense. As best I can tell, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to the magic system in it. It's kind of like they know what they're doing and they've trained, and so it works for them. This is and then to give you a little bit about it, it's a manga turned anime. Witch and the Beast is a story centered on Ashaf, a tall, quietly spoken man, and his partner, Guido, who has the appearance of a girl, but whose masked and powerful alter ego is contained within a coffin strapped to Ashaf's back. Now, I'll just jump real quick in the middle of this and say that is the two characters that you have in the image in front of you. Ashaf up there, and you can see the coffin on his back that he's carrying around. And then that's Guido there. Guido, let me finish this. They are tasked by the Order of Magical Resonance to bring rogue witches to account as they travel the country, seeking a particular witch who poses a grave threat to society. The grave threat to society, they have not revealed that or what it is at all yet. What we do know is that this witch they're looking for is the one that put the curse on Guido. Guido looks like a girl, but was originally a man whose appearance was changed by a witch's curse. She joined the Order of Magical Resonance to find the witch and lift the curse, and very reluctantly travels with the Shaf, helping him solve cases involving magic. So she has an alter ego of a huge, powerful masked man, which can be released by Ashef when necessary. That's all I have down. And then Ashaf, a tall, quietly spoken, chain-smoking man with a coffin strapped to his back. He's partnered with Guido, and they travel around solving mysteries involving magic for the Order. So that's really all the background and stuff for them that you need. The one thing I will say is that we've only seen him use the coffin on his back once. And what happens is that there is only there in the world which witches curses, everyone knows that there's two ways to break a witch's curse. You have to you have to talk to the witch and willingly get them to undo their curse, or you have to kiss the witch. And that gets them to break their curse. There's and I'm going to say that maybe there's maybe one of them is killing them, but what they do is that maybe there's one that nobody knows about, but the kissing the witch, it doesn't break when he kisses the witch that isn't the one that put the curse on. It breaks the curse temporarily. So the witches that he's fighting, he tries to get close to, kisses them to see if they're the witch, and then that releases the guy in the coffin. The guy in the coffin is like, from what I saw, he's like Superman strength, strong, impervious to magic, and completely and utterly insane. He just runs to destroy things, is the way it looked to me. So It's really cool. Ashraf uses crows in his magic. That's why there's all them crows behind it. And I don't know. Gido is like his sword that goes out and slashes at them, whereas he is more of support and distraction. He uses the crows to distract them. Now, that's not to say that he can't be strong, but he definitely, like Gido, is more of the head-on, punch you in the face fighter, whereas Ashraf is the
I'll
guy that's
cover
going to
your.
stand back, and he's calculating, he's thinking the whole time, trying to figure out what to do next. So
Yeah, he's trying to figure. He's got at least a very high battle IQ.
very much so.
Yeah, that's awesome. I might have to check this out. Just looking at this key visual, just like, man, this gotta slap.
I was hooked when I saw the visual and read the storyline behind it, and I was like, man, this just sounds great. And I love all the supernatural and witchy stuff that I can find. So I watch a lot of that. So I mean, I knew that this was going to be something I'd enjoy. And so when I started it, though, I didn't realize that I was going to get as drawn in as I was. The right now they're doing they've kind of switched it up, and you have two other main characters that came in, and they've been there for one episode, so I'm not going to remember their name. But it's a necromancer. Oh wait, the guy that she's with is Johan, and her name is, I'm not going to remember it exactly, but it made me think of Sephora. So it's like Sephram, something along those lines. But she's a necromancer. And so apparently the way they necromancers bring people back in this world is different. So I'm not going to go into it. You just need to go watch it. It was interesting. Like, and again, I want to tell you what it is, but at the same time, I'm like, if I tell you, then you won't have to go watch it to know. Yeah. And I kind of want to make everybody go watch it to know. So I think I'm going to just tell you that it's really interesting, some things about their undead, and you should just go watch the show. Yeah. It's only 6 episodes in, I believe it is, 6 or 7. So completely worth picking up. Absolutely an amazing show.
Yeah, so I believe it's on Crunchyroll too. This one's on Crunchyroll as well.
It is. Honestly, all the anime that we have today are Crunchyroll anime. So it was easy. Yeah. I went and looked it up beforehand, and I was like, that's funny.
Nice.
And that's all I have for that. Do you have any other questions about it?
I might have to. That's 6 episodes that they have out so far. I might have to pause Free Run for a day or two and get in on this.
Well, I would say since we're doing Free Run next week, if you haven't watched any Free Run, you should start Free Run and get at least a few episodes under your belt so you understand, and wait until at least there's 3 main characters, and then Scene is a wandering cleric that picks up with them for a little bit, but then he takes off where they're at now. He's not with them at the moment, but you should definitely watch till it's Free Ren, Fern, and Stark are the 3 main characters, and you should watch enough episodes. I think it's only the 3rd episode you got to get to that you meet all of them, but man, it's really good. Like this last episode of it was amazing. Like it was, most of their episodes are a lot of wandering. Somebody said that Freeran is autistic. Like the way that they have her story being told, like she's an autistic 1,000-year-old ultimately strong elf wizard. So that's just something to kind of think about. Like, and with my son being,
Yeah.
on the scale, on the spectrum, I see some of the things that they're talking about. I
Yeah.
really do. I really do. But we're not going there. We're going to save that for next week. Get a couple episodes watched. Watch a couple episodes of The Witch and the
Witch the
Beast.
Beast.
It is definitely worth it. And now the last anime that we have to talk about is Metallic Rouge.
Yeah.
And I found out something while I was doing this that I wanted to tell you about because I thought this was pretty interesting. It's an anime that's produced by Studio Bones for their 25th anniversary. It's like an original anime. It doesn't have a manga before it, so they have people that are writing the story as it goes on. Directing it is Motonobu Hori, who you might know from the show that came out on Netflix, Super Crooks.
Yeah.
He did that. He did a show, and I didn't watch it, but Carol and Tuesday, I believe it was something about music. These two girls that played music, but I didn't watch it, so I can't speak on that for sure. But then also directed the 2015 Ghost in the Shell movie. So the guy they've got directing it, he's got some chops he's got some stuff under his belt to brag about. So I found that pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
I made it a point to not tell you about that, and I didn't know if you had found it on the outline when I did it, but I wanted to make sure to tell you.
Yeah, I saw the outline today, but I didn't really speak up about it because there's so much stuff going on. But man, that was really awesome. And I was about to say, like, as far as Ghost of the Shell goes, is that the only person that they pulled from Ghost in the Shell's team, or did they pull like a writer too?
I did not look up the writers. They had two listed, but from the way the article that I read was speaking about it, it sounded as though uh, it was they had a team of writers working on it. So as to credit one person, they like I said, they credited two in the article, and I didn't write their names down, but they credited them as the head writers on the article on the story. But that the way that, like I said, the way it made it sound was that there was an overview written by them, and the individual episodes are being written by different people.
Oh,
Like it's a team effort. So, hey, hang on a second. I see my mailman is here, and I'm going to get someone to come up and get this mail. Okay.
no problem. I'll talk about Metallic Rouge for a second with the guys and just tell you like the synopsis of this story. But this is like a science fiction, futuristic TV series. The two protagonists you see here are the two ladies. Yes, it's the two ladies sitting right in front of you. On the left is what is her name? Rouge Red Star. Rouge Red Star is the name she goes by. She is a part of a special project that androids basically, and they're called Neans in this TV series. So she is a Nean. One key identifying factor about the Neans is they usually have the lines on her face. She is the only one that doesn't have the lines. But they all have this power source called nectar that they, I guess, eat, and it makes the lines in her body glow. So that's how you can tell she's a Nean, because when she takes the nectar, her whole body glows, and you can see the lines that she came with. Oh, so and she's not just an ordinary android. She's like a very wanted, suspected, like what do I call it? It's, the red robot in the background is her when she transforms, and
Red Gladiator.
yeah, the red gladiator is what they're calling her. She's kind of a fugitive. She's kind of not. She works for the organization that's over the Neans. It's called
Uh, Ministry of Truth.
Ministry of Truth, and her older brother is like the CEO of it. And they just now started getting into explaining his and her relationship in this past episode. There's only like 4 episodes out right now on Crunchyroll, but from where they're at right now, we got to see the villains, a few of the villains. So the villains of the series are known as the Immortal Nine, and they are a rebellious group of Neans. Their job is to knock out the government that's been oppressing Neans for so long, I believe. And so far, we've met either 2 or 3 of the Neans. We met Sarah Fitzgerald was the first fight. The clown guy was also one of the Immortal Nine. He's still alive and he's still out wreaking havoc. She seems like he's going to wind up becoming a big bad soon. And then just this last episode, we met what is called the Phantom Verde, and the guy,
Doctor.
yeah, the Doctor Adaf Afaf.
Ashdaff, I think it was.
Yeah, Dr. Ashstaff's voice is played by the legendary Kenjiro Sudo. And when I heard that voice, I freaking freaked out and had a fangirl moment and started sweating in my living room. So that was a very awesome casting. The fight scene between Rouge and Dr. Adaf in his Phantom Verde mode was awesome. Beautiful animation. Just the right dosage of CGI, which is not toxic levels like certain anime I know. But
yes,
man,
I do. I'm going to jump in here and say that I am the CGI hater, and my biggest thing is that their transitions, if they're going to do 2D plus 3D CGI, their transitions from the 2D drawn animation into the CGI have to be flawless. If it's not, then it causes a break in the experience of what you're watching, pulls you out of the anime, and doesn't allow you the immersion that you want in a TV show. And this anime definitely does not have that. I don't feel like it's the best CGI that I've ever watched, but it is really good. And I don't have any complaints about it either. And as you said, this last fight was exceptionally amazing. It was really, really well done.
yeah, these fights are like next level. I am obsessed with the animation for some of these different Neans and their combat forms. Uh, we saw Sarah Fitzgerald, which was the very first fight. She has a suit of her own, and the suit was beautiful. The attack that it uses was beautiful. The guy that's basically kind of like a Joker style android, his suit was awesome, and they just haven't missed yet. All these suits are well designed. It's really just like a miniature mech anime, and all these guys are just like human size, like no taller than like
Right.
maybe 6 feet, and they are just going at it. Uh, Rouge's job is basically take out the entire Immortal Nine, and as strong and talented as she naturally is, she could actually probably pull it off. But the job is to be more cunning than her opponents, because their powers are no joke.
No, they're not. Something again, just as I am putting together our outlines, I read a lot of stuff, and one of the things I read that was interesting about this is that her actual normal appearance is the Red Gladiator. That's actually how she looks when she goes into this teenage form. I don't remember if it said it was a hologram or something along that lines, but that's not her natural form. Her natural form is actually Red Gladiator.
Man,
Same thing with the Immortal Nine. Their natural forms are the robot forms.
is it
They
just
take
them or is it every Nean?
No, it's just them. Not
Nice.
every Neon can do that. Not every Neon can transform like as two different forms that they go between.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's only certain special ones, and I imagine that what we're going to find out is that the same person that created Rouge Red Star is the one that created the Immortal Nine.
I think he did. I think for me to figure out is, are they going to go after him to kill him eventually, or what is the deal? Because I know Rue just has to track them down one by one and take them out, so she can deliver their identity cores or whatever back to her brother. But it's
You're
just like
assuming that the creator isn't already dead, or I mean, do you know that? Because I don't.
they haven't said a word about any of this. We just started getting into the lore in the last episode, and we met the brother in last episode, but there's no
Yeah,
connections between anything right now. So
yeah, we don't
theoretically,
know. Yeah,
yeah. So theoretically, I think there's something more to her brother than what meets the eye, for starters. And the Immortal Nine is probably going to have their own lore that we're going to dive into. Uh, Naomi, which is the girl on the right, she is a huge nerd. She loves history and everything related to the war that happened between the robots and the invading alien species. She knows everything about it. She even broke down a little bit of lore about that war in the most recent episode. And I found out, I don't read the manga, but I found out that Naomi can actually throw hands. She can defend herself very well against the bad guy, to a certain
yeah,
extent, of course.
yeah. I don't think she could go toe to toe with any of them robots,
Yeah.
but uh, yeah, she definitely can throw down. Well, I mean, she's an agent of the Ministry of Truth, whatever that involves. So, and again, just like we were talking about somebody earlier, she's a support role. She's
Yep.
not meant to get in there and fight. Uh, not meant to, do that kind of stuff. She gathers information, surveillance, let's tracks people down.
Yeah.
Really good at tracking. So that little bird she's got is awesome.
That bird is awesome. She's basically like Rouge's handler. She guides her while she's on her missions, gives her a little bit, feeds her info whenever they have to work separately from each other, and Rouge just works off of that. Like they communicate back and forth, and they make a damn good duo together.
They
I,
do. They really do. I find the interactions between them really cute and silly sometimes. Again, the reading that I do. Did you, even though Rouge has the appearance of a teenager, she's actually only 10 years old, which explains a lot about why her personality is the way it is.
that's crazy.
Uh, and it also explains that she doesn't understand a lot of Naomi's like witty comebacks and snide remarks and her cynicism towards the world. You know,
Yeah,
uh, she doesn't get any of that. She's like, but they both actually really care for each other, and
they
that's
really
shown
do.
too. So
They kind of captured the essence of what a robot person's personality would be like it pretty well with Rouge and her personality.
I'm gonna just throw this out here, and I don't know if you kind of caught this same vibe from it that I did, but it definitely gives me Cowboy Bebop vibes, like female led Cowboy Bebop vibes with them. They're like hunting down bounties. The music is a huge part of the show. I
So
noticed you
good.
haven't touched on that at all, but the music, it's really weird. It's awesome. Sometimes it's like Cowboy Bebop, a lot of it is very jazzy.
It
Like you got
is.
a lot of jazz in it, and like it'll be like some slow time, and it'll be like some upbeat jazz, and then they get to like them fighting, and it's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
Dun, 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 dun.
I
Yeah, it's
believe.
like,
Yeah, I believe this is the anime where if they get into a fight, there's like a choir in the background and says there's going to be a fight. You have you heard that when you watched this last episode, the choir in the background? Or I might have mixed
no, I
things
didn't.
up.
I missed that. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
yeah,
what the hell? And they said it so clearly this last episode, and I was like, it's going to be a fight. And it's just like, oh, okay.
I
Okay.
think I do remember something about that, something like that. But yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's just really the music isn't like what the anime is about, but it really adds to the music selection really adds to the ambiance of the whole story going on. It
Yeah.
really adds to it. So
It's very futuristic, and the animation captures it very beautifully. I love every character design on here too. So it's just like Naomi's gorgeous, uh, Rouge is beautiful, the villains are beautiful. It's just like,
man, Rouge be reminded me of that of Akami. Wasn't that her name? And Akami got killed.
yeah, she does look like a
She looks
comic.
just like her, man, except she got them red tits. I was like, when it first came on, I was looking at her and I'm like, who is that? I know her from somewhere. I met that girl somewhere before. It
Yep.
was that anime. For real, man. Like I felt like I knew her already. And obviously it's not the same attitude or anything like that. It's just that her uh base appearance is really well, it's a very simple appearance. A whiter skin, the black hair straight down with the
Bangs
bang in the
and
front. Yep.
red tips. And she just eating chocolate every chance she gets.
Every chance. Oh God. When Naomi told her to give that chocolate to the little girl and she's like and ate it all up, I laughed so hard, man. I'm like, gotta do the same thing. I'm like,
She was like, fuck them kids. It's like,
I don't
God,
know them kids. I don't even know where they've been.
it
I
was
don't
my
need to give them
chocolate.
that.
She's There are such badass characters, and I love them. There's some wholesomeness to it too.
For sure, man. Uh yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's definitely one, like I said, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. I'm looking forward to see what they do next. So
Yeah, and last thing I'll say as far as the music goes, Tales of Wedding Rings, we didn't touch on the music in that. There are some moments of just like what do you call it? Innocent romance between him and the characters, and the background music would be like somebody's playing on the 808s, and it's like kind of like a hip hoppy romance, hip hop R&B type of background music, and it's actually smooth, and it's
porn
like, well,
vibes. I get
damn,
you, man.
yeah.
Porn vibes. You're like, wow, wow.
Wow. It's like, damn, this is a little bit too smooth. I need to turn volume down on my TV for people to get
Man, they may
suspicious.
as well drop some Luther and let that shit get on.
Yeah,
They know. Do you know why they ain't done it yet? They know if they played some Luther, Sato would definitely be knocking them boots.
yeah, he was like,
Like
all right.
you can't take that. That there's power in them words.
Like, God, that's what made Sato fold. Finally, it was Luther Vandross. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh man.
This show knows how to set a good vibe, and all four of these shows are just our best recommendations for you guys. So,
Yeah. Oh, Crunchyroll. Metallic Rouge on Crunchyroll. I think we said that all four of them today were, but just in case we missed that. Uh yeah, man, I don't have anything else to say about it. We said pretty much everything. I think that the four shows we have, I like them all. I'm going to keep watching them at least for the moment. When they get too corny and turn to shit, I'll let y'all know.
yeah,
I'll have a special episode for all the anime that went to shit.
Yeah. So far, I haven't found anything that was a miss. Well, maybe like one or two. As far as a winter 2024 season goes, maybe like one or two anime that was like a miss for me. But everything else has been a banger.
We I don't know. I don't think you ever started it, but I stopped at Tanks Labyrinth raids with the defense of 9,999. I quit that. I didn't watch that. See, and there again, I quit that one because of like this sister love bullshit in it, right?
Yeah.
That character had. Marshall. That dude that's in his team, is it Rain? It's the guy with the two stripes that's on his team, actually. That's like, well, I say on his team. That's like in his group of main group of friends. He's got, and it's not Rain Ames, it's the other guy.
You talking about Marshall's Blood, or is it Magic and Muscles? Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall, Magic and Muscles.
Okay.
And but one of his friends has talked about had that sister love shit, that he like gets nosebleeds when he's thinking about his sister, and she's young and it's stupid, but I think it's happened in like 3 episodes. So if you didn't realize it even happened, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that they listed places, but the horny anime. It's not even about just horny animes. It's the ones that were like the sister love thing, man. Or like, I don't know. I guess just like certain pervy shit. I don't even want to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that shit.
We got to draw a line somewhere.
Right. And we also will not be selling any panties out of vending machines.
Absolutely not. Like, God damn it.
I don't even know what Japan is doing sometimes, but hey, they make a lot of good anime. That's what
Yeah, we can all attest to that.
They have the most beautiful springs and legendary spots in their country, like the bridges and the gazebos, and I don't know what all of the structures over there, the shrines. I just think that stuff's beautiful, but the most of what I care about coming out of Japan is their animation.
Yeah. We can consume that 24/7. We can't consume ramen. That's not all over the United States, especially not Southeast Missouri.
You said a line there that it didn't sound like English. I'm not sure that I understood those words in that combination.
The ramen part?
Yeah. Who can't eat ramen 24 hours, 24/7?
We can eat top ramen. Unless you make homemade ramen.
I wish. I have never done it. I mean, if we do something like, if we make a pork tenderloin and we got pork left over, I always stash me a piece or two back and then tear it up and make me like one of them. I like it's Nissan, the
pork
stir fry. Oh. It's the stir fry ones. And they've got a hot sweet chili one that I mean, it's like 4 minutes in the microwave, and then what I do is I throw my pork in there and squirt a bunch of sriracha in on top of it.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with sriracha, especially any kind of comfort food. We call them panties and vending machines.
I've not heard that. When did they do away with that? Damn it, I need to get back to Japan.
Yeah, I actually
are
tried
correct.
to eat ramen 24/7 before, and I learned my lesson by day 3. I was shitting different and everything. Like, oh, okay, I learned my lesson. It's still delicious. I'm just gonna do it once a month now. We cool. We cool.
I have teenagers, so we, always keep a big package of ramen around because whenever they get hungry and we don't feel like fixing anything, I'm like, cook yourself some ramen.
Yeah. You know what to do. You want to add a little butter to it or whatever and make it fancy. You do that.
Man, my kids are crazy. You talk about making fancy ramen. Connor takes his a lot of the time and he puts peanut butter in it and stirs peanut butter into it. I'm not a big fan of it. It smells funny, but I mean, he likes it. Uh, Holden likes to take while he dumps most of the water out of it and then like puts the packet in. So it's just got very little water in it, but then he cracks an egg in it and stirs it up while it's still on the stove. So it like almost it like partially scrambles, partially fries the egg in and on the noodles, and there's like a little bit of moisture in there, so it doesn't even make like pieces of egg. It's like just like a sauce on the noodles. So it's really weird, but I don't like it either. I don't do that to
He's
my
on to something.
man. They experiment with food, man.
Yeah.
Connor looked up some recipe online where he was making cakes in a cup, mixing. I don't even know. I think it started out as flour. Even like he was making that shit from scratch.
Man.
I was like, yeah, man, I ain't doing that. I'm sorry.
All the
You
different
want to make a
stories.
cake? We can make a cake, but I'm
Yeah.
not doing nothing in the microwave in a cup. That's a lot of work to end up with a single piece of cake.
A single piece of cake that'll be gone in a matter of 60 seconds.
Man, and you know that it can't come out of the microwave. Like you don't cook anything in the microwave, fully cook it, and it come out tasting good. That just doesn't happen.
It sounds like a setup.
It does, and it is, man. My younger brother used to do scrambled eggs in the microwave, and I was just like, how? That's gross. Like, I mean, and
Yeah.
I can't lie. I've had some of them before. It's okay if you don't have if you don't have an oven and a skillet and you can't scramble that shit right, then cooking them in the microwave is a way to still get some scrambled eggs, but it's not the right scrambled egg.
It's like, man, that's the fastest way to get me to call the cops.
Real, for real.
Like, I know
Y'all
we're
don't even
related, but I
know.
need to see you go to jail. I need to see. What are you
You
doing
have
to
offended my food sensibilities.
the It's like this should be illegal in many, many states.
Oh man. Uh so hey, before I was just thinking about it. What we'll do is real quick, we'll let everyone know that next week, on the 13th, we will be talking about Freerun, Journey's End, Undead Unluck, Shangri-La Frontier, and Ragnar Crimson for sure. Those 4 are definitely on the list. If we take as long to talk about those 4 as we did today, that's going to be all we talk about. But we could possibly talk about Shaman King Flowers, Buchigiri, the new Mappa anime, and may even get some One Piece in there if we got time.
Maybe
There's so
Delicious
much
in
going on
Dungeon.
in One Piece.
Yeah.
Delicious in Dungeon 2. I was still trying to get to the ones that we haven't talked about this year yet.
True.
And then the week after that, so that would be the 20th, we'll come back talking about the ones that we have talked about before. But we could talk about Delicious in Dungeon if we got time next week too, honestly. It isn't like we only talked about 4 anime today. I'd say 7 or 8 of them at least.
Yeah. We got
our
some options.
conversations. Yeah, they like go all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to doing a deep dive into Shangri-La Frontier. I'm hoping they finish up that current fight by the time next week run comes around, because then we can be talking about that, but won't give any spoilers until we give spoilers.
Yeah. It's a higher
But
priority anime for y'all to watch.
for sure. Holden started watching it and he's hooked. Yeah, he's like, it's me, and I'm like, that. I told you it was like that. So
Literally a love letter to gamers, man.
it is, and he's like the way that he talks to other people and trash talks, and that's how he is in a game. So he's like, yeah, that's how I feel too. How when he was building his character, he's like, yeah, sell the armor, buy better weapons.
Like, I don't care about being a glass cannon.
And that's what I told you the other day. I was like, he was talking about something he built. I'm like, so you're a glass cannon. He goes, I don't know what that is.
You'll find out.
It's your character. That's what the fuck it is. And then I explained to him what it was, and he was like, there's some other way to do it.
Oh.
Sure, man. Oh.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's all I got, man. I think that I'm all talked out of anime for the week. I gotta hop off of here so we can start getting supper ready.
Yes,
so you gonna do shout outs to anyone?
Yeah.
Say hi to people.
Yeah, I'll do a quick shout out to our brothers over at Comically Inclined. Shout out to those guys. We'll be going live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. Top 5 for this week is top 5 dynamic duos. So you guys are already following us on the Comically Inclined YouTube channel. Our username is just at Comically Inclined 6161. And you guys can easily hop on right over there and subscribe to their channel and hit the bell if you want to stay notified about when our episode goes live. And it should be a very fun episode. We got rumor mill, a lot of rumors that came out for the nerd industry. So it should be a fun episode tomorrow. Shout out to those guys, my boy Danny Stewart and the rest of the team. And also, shout out to the people over at That Feeling Podcast Network. Our buddies, Mac, aka your boy, and Kelvin, aka Black Mac. Those are our guys over there from Smoke Pit, No Gimmicks, Queens of Nerdum. We got USDN and a couple other shows, I believe. With the changes that they're cooking up now. So shout out to them. This is going to be a good year for all of us. And can't wait to see what everybody does next.
Definitely. My shout out is to everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. And we hope to see you next week when we're talking about all the anime that's hitting and all the anime you should be quitting. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.